Boom shakalaka. Nah. It's
Good evening, and welcome to today's hot mess edition of Morbid Mondays. Why, you ask? Because I forgot I had to do this until literally last night at like 10 p.m. Okay? Like, I'm gonna full on rat myself out here. Like, I will tattle on myself all day long. I ain't no snitch on anybody else, though. But I will take accountability for my own actions.
neurodivergent confessions.
No, for real, though. So, anyway, I chose this subject because my partner was gracious enough to be like, go bathe. I'll see what fucked up shit I can find on the internet. BRB. And he scampered off to his...
I want you to know that is something that every man has said.
BRB?
No. Go bathe. I'm going to find some fucked up shit on the internet.
Bro, I love my husband. Because he was like, I got you. And like, I got out of the shower and I had like a nice and tidy list of like 5 subjects to choose from. And I picked this one because I knew I could bullshit my way through about half of it.
Okay. All right. That's the best ones because it's like more narrative than it is anything else.
I mean, yeah. So, welcome to oh my god, I have to present tomorrow. What the fuck am I gonna do? Let me set the stage for you here because like we've established this on multiple occasions. You are more familiar with like US history than I am.
Okay.
Like my neurodivergent ass was like anywhere but here. Russia, you got it. Australia, bet. England, France, Germany, let's go. US, where's that? Anyway, ADHD at its finest. Let me set the tone for you here. It is 1911.
Okay.
Okay? We're in the early 1900s. The Edwardian period is like coming to a close.
Yeah.
Like if you want to speak of it, I guess I should say, from like a historical fashion standpoint.
Okay.
Like you're exiting one era of fashion and into another. It's one of the easiest ways to keep track of time periods for me for some reason, but I think that's also because I'm a costumer.
That makes sense.
Like,
yeah. So we are leaving the king and queen setting the fashion standard to the new suit and tie version that's coming out of the rest of the world.
Yeah. It's very, I don't know. It's 1911 New York. Let's just put it in the US here for you, like just to throw it into perspective here. The Edwardian era is ending, fashion is shifting. This is the progressive era, rapid industrialization, urbanization, and like mass immigration because everybody is wanting to come here and live the American dream.
Right. Yeah.
Back when it was a thing. Social standards and political standards are just like the baseline is changing because people are demanding it change, right?
Right. Yeah.
So this is kind of another period of upheaval, which seems to happen every like 30, 40 years. Like, just no, we don't like your status quo. Let's fucking change it.
Yeah, sure.
Basically progressive reformation. Like it is just a period of change. And you have the old guard from society being like, no, thank you. Well, that's just how it goes.
Yeah,
right?
They like kept doing that. Like when you look at pictures from like the 1920s, they're still dressed in like lion tail coats.
I know, it's
like what becomes like high, like almost like stage fashion is their fashion. Like the guys are all actually dressed like they're Gene Kelly or somebody. You know, like they're
First of all, Gene Kelly.
Yeah.
More for the theater kids. So yes, like it just to keep it in a fashion perspective, because I swear it's relevant. Just like, let me get there. Let me get the blah out of my system. So we're at the very beginning of like the fast fashion kind of thing. Like this is like factories are fucking everywhere. Conditions are abysmal. Pay is terrible. And like we're staring down the average like 60 to 70 hour work week.
I'm hoping I know where you're going with this.
You probably
I'm
do.
trying to read your mind.
Which is usually pretty easy for you because we're typically on the same like wavelength.
It's something I know nothing about and only the name of. But go on.
Okay. Like, I put it to you this way. I said it, and Anderson's head popped up and went, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Oh, am I the only idiot that didn't know about this?" Fuck. So, according to my notes that I took at 6:30 this morning, the average work week from like 1900 to like 1912 or so was 60 to 70 hours, right? Let's talk about pay really quick, because you're talking at the end of your work week, like, and I know that numbers from like way back then, it was like 100 years ago.
Yeah. A significant amount of time. Like your day's labor might have been like $5.
Your day's labor at that point would have been like 22 cents.
Yikes! That's even for then. That's
well. Also,
crazy low.
Consider like the time period.
Yeah.
And this is factory work. So
Jesus
once again,
Christ.
Conditions are abysmal.
Yeah.
And men on average for their weekly take home would be $11.16. And that's rough math because, like, you know, it varied from factory to factory.
Right.
But as a general average. Women, on the other hand, because remember, women were prevalent in this workforce.
Yeah.
Like I dare say that lots of factories were manned only by women.
Yeah, unless oddly you were the foreman or something.
Yeah.
There was still a weird like management thing where they had to be men. But like, yeah, because so much, especially here in America, so many of these factories were like textile factories, the seamstresses and stuff.
And they like your workforce was dominated by immigrants.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, more power to you, like, make that money.
Yeah, sure.
But, like, fucking pay your workers?
Yeah, we can all afford to pay a couple more dollars for a t-shirt.
So women, on average, took home about $6.17. Now, that's weekly for them.
Inflation and all that other shit.
I was about to say, to put that in, like, today money, like today Monopoly money, because money's not real anymore, that's about $3.80.56 for dudes.
Whoa.
Yeah, weekly. That's less than minimum wage now.
Yep.
And women were at $210.39. My part-time, I've been working since I was 15. My part-time work at like 16 years old, working at a bookstore. Give me a second, I'll get the exact $216.40. It was exactly my car payment once I bought my first car when I was 19.
Nice.
Okay? I remember those numbers because it was weird that they matched up. So that was minimum wage. How old am I? 20 plus years ago. $210.39 for a weekly take home for women. First of all, can we talk about like the disparagement between the sexes there? Because Jesus fucking Christ.
That was the thing that held for a very long time.
Yeah,
it was
the glass ceiling.
Yeah, and it was like half. Women made half what men made. Even in like fields where they were both doing the exact same job, right? Because the guys would make these like weird arguments about, well, a coal miner or something like that, right? They would talk about like road work or some shit that had more to do with like being very physically strong at the time. And then people would snap back like, yeah, but you're not doing like, you know what I mean? Like if our job is to calculate numbers, it's not like you're doing a significant amount more than me or anything more than me. We're doing the same job. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things.
Fucking insane. Like especially in like let's take for example textiles. Like the factories where they made the fabrics or fabric items. Like men and women are doing the exact same job.
Yeah.
Why the hell is that guy making twice what she is?
Right. Like
right?
I would even argue that if you go back into like textiles specifically and the looms.
Yeah, women should make more because like traditionally that is a feminine job.
And also like the most dangerous job in the factory is kids.
Yeah.
Is the kids gathering up like the little weft that's falling on the ground. And so like in today's standard of labor, they would make the most out of like hazard pay.
Yep.
And so like
leading me into my next point. All right, so working conditions we've established are shit. You're working like 10 and 13 hour days on average, like 7 days a week. Unless you were one of those lucky people that like worked in one of the factories that shut down on Sundays.
Yeah.
Because religion, I refuse to go into that because that's a whole rant in and of itself. So, factories in general are just like overcrowded, and quite frankly, like they're some of the worst of working conditions.
Yeah.
Because depending on the machines that you're working with, the rooms aren't ventilated. Like, the machines themselves are kind of the general theme for this era, as everyone figures out, like, oh, I can make a machine do this job, is fire hazards.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you have the same building, you're just cramming a giant like heat-driven machine into it. Yeah,
heat-driven, oil-soaked, exposed wires. Like, just a fire marshal from today would like walk into one of these buildings and just immediately like keel over from a heart attack.
Oh yeah, that's like half of them have been like turned into like the studio apartments.
Yeah,
like these old buildings, because they are not. There's not enough exits.
Dude, okay, so like I told you that this one led me down like 2/3 of a rabbit hole before I was like, no, rein yourself in. Building codes for this time period are fucking nuts. How did none of these buildings burn down?
Oh no, they did.
Well, they burn down all the time.
I was like, the whole city of Chicago went up like a fucking matchstick.
Allow me to rephrase that question. How are there any buildings from that particular era that have survived to now? Because there are historical places that like were built in 1901 and they're still around in 2025. And how the fuck? Yeah. Because I now know what your innards look like, and I repeat with emphasis, with little asterisks in italic, bold, and underlined. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
now if you ever just want a kick, look up the Dollop has this episode on like Ford's Theater, and just the dumb shit. Like they were working on the subfloor while people were still working on the upper floor, because it became like a post office thing. Yeah, so they were like digging the walls out, and the building just collapsed.
Shocked Pikachu face. Yeah. What?
Yeah, they dug through the structure. It's really crazy, and then they kept using it. Like they literally tried to fix it, and then they just kept using it, and I was like, that's wild. What the fuck?
That's insane, and I cannot tolerate that because, okay, so for those of you that don't know, which is probably going to be most of you, my father is a fireman. Okay? And you're smiling at me because I think you figured out where we are.
So I think I had it before, because we started on fashion, and then we went like 1900s New York, and now we're in factories. So do you want me to take a guess?
Absolutely. Please do.
I think this is something I know nothing about. I only know that it happened, which is there was a shirtwaist factory fire.
Yes, it is the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Morbid Monday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, good job.
So I know about this because it's a legal landmark for the reasons that you were just talking about. This is where a lot of labor rights start.
Yes.
It's like this.
It is also one of the contributing factors to OSHA.
Yeah, that's right. It's like this because of the tragedy, and the Blair Mountain because of the violence. So like all the violence.
So allow me to say that I knew absolutely nothing about this. Like, I hadn't even heard of it when I began my research for that. Like I literally I picked this one out of the list that I got because I was like, oh, hang on, I may have some like filler insights on this one because I have an inside source. I was super excited. We are in factories. Everything is shit. There are literally children working. In fact, there are children working fucking everywhere right now because there are no child labor laws, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like,
is the running theory was like, well, you should go to work with your parents. And some schools were literally only open on like certain parts of the year, not because of farm, but because of factory. Because like in the middle of like the dead cold, sometimes the place that you were in wouldn't be running because it was too cold to run.
Yes. And like these factories had no HVAC, bro. Like there was no heat in the winter. There was no AC in the summer. So like this is literally where we got the term sweatshop.
Yeah. Because you just bake.
And there was no ventilation.
Jeez,
like I cannot stress that enough. Like that seriously shocked me so badly because I grew up on like early 90s flicks and like 80s flicks when they would like show you the old shoe factory from like 1900 Dick.
Yeah.
And like the first thing I would notice would be those gigantic fuck off windows. And the like in my head, I'm picturing, do you remember Jumanji?
I'm reading your head because I almost said, yeah, that's where Nikes were invented.
Yeah, Jumanji.
Yeah, Jumanji.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
so, like,
even though that's such a bullshit thing.
I know, but like Robin Williams. So you picture that is that also the like style of early 1900s factory that pops into your head immediately?
So yes, because I used to work in a prison.
Oh well, yeah,
and they have the same windows, and what it is it's a breezeway.
Yeah.
The wind flows through. See, and it cools off.
That was my immediate thought was like they'd have those great big open windows for not only ventilation from like the glue and various fabric and leather particles and like just general ventilation.
Yeah.
But like also light, and that would cut your electric bill.
Right.
But I guess I'm thinking too modern because these places almost windowless, no ventilation. It's fucking awful.
No, you know what it is, and so like the breezeway thing has been around for a very long time. Where you don't see it is you don't see it in factory construction of like the 1800s, late 1800s, obviously, and early 1900s, because they were built very, very quickly.
Yes.
And if you want to build something very, very fast, you can't make it complicated. And windows in a superstructure are actually kind of complicated.
So I was actually just about to bring that up. This is the dawn of the high-rise.
Yeah.
For New York. Like, this is where we start getting skyscrapers and the ultra-tall buildings because, like, they're running out of space to grow out, so they're just growing up.
Yeah.
And I found conflicting reports on the actual like height / stories within this building, which by the way, it's the Ash building, which was later renamed into the Brown building.
That's too on the nose.
So it is, I know for a fact it is 135 feet high.
Wow.
But like the exact count of floors in it.
That's a little different. Yeah.
Seems to vary from 10 to 13.
That makes sense to me.
I want to say it's 10 because like in further research, like what you'll find out later in this story is that the execs were on the 10th floor. So I'm thinking it was only 10 floors at this point.
That would make sense. I bet they get the 13 out of just dividing it into like regular building size.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like most commercial buildings have like 9 to 12 foot ceilings.
Yeah.
So they're probably going off of roughly that.
I had that same thought, but I figured I would put that little like asterisk footnote in there of like could be 10, could be 13. I'm pretty sure it's 10 though.
Yeah.
So
if not it's 11 because usually execs are on the top floor, and if there's one floor above, it's like where the piping is.
Yeah. Child labor, like you have kids as young as 12 years old, like running about, or not even running about, because like movement and like these factory environments were so restricted, like they were nigh unto like prison, because you were trapped at your still. I say trapped because like that's my mentality here, because you were very rarely allowed to take breaks, like not only like a break to go eat, but like to go to the bathroom.
Right. Yeah.
And like you were essentially assigned to your station, and that is where the fuck you stayed for your like 10 to 13 hour shift, right? And I don't know if y'all have ever tried to make a 12 to 14-year-old stay the fuck put for any longer than 6 hours, but that's virtually impossible.
Right. That strikes me sometimes when I'm reading like anything history, right? And in not good ways.
Yeah.
Kids are often way more adult at a very young age in this time period, because like some of them,
well, and this is also the bootstrap era. Like you and I are old enough to have had grandparents that were not only like either born or like were socially aware right in and around here.
Yeah.
So like our grandparents and our great grandparents were very, very, very different than our parents. The general mentality of that point, like, because you have people that are going to work at like 12 years old to literally provide for their families because their parents are either dead or too sick to work, or they're also working to provide for their family because, once again, we've established that pay at this point was abysmal.
Yeah.
So, and there is a lot, and I cannot stress my rage of this enough. This continues onto like current affairs, but the exploitation of immigrants. They were paid less, they were worked harder. So most of them were singled out for their lack of being able to English well.
Yeah.
Which, considering that I'm a person that was raised here and I still don't English good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was said pointedly.
They
don't
used
come
to
for
say
me.
it really artfully, is that you would see in newspaper articles, and you still hear this from time to time, where people would say if you're from a language that doesn't match up with English as far as its structure, so it's harder to learn,
Mm-hmm.
they would say that you don't integrate well.
Ugh.
I've heard that a lot. And
listen, English mugged like 13 languages in a dark alley. English is one of the hardest languages to learn. But basically, these poor people, because they don't have the greatest command of the most difficult language to learn, because fuck English, they're just exploited. They're targeted and given these shitty jobs for shitty pay. And you've seen Gangs of New York, right?
uh-huh.
That's a pretty good description of what I was reading about like living conditions and kind of general sort of what's going on at this point. No, I'm not going to say there were like open gang wars on the street. There probably were, but I didn't do any research into that. But I'm talking about like the general, like how slums existed.
Yeah, you would have and many things that I've seen from that time period or a little bit before is that you would have a what is now called a studio, and that you would just hang sheets to divide the rooms. And that was the way that a lot of people lived.
Yeah.
I've known people now who live like that.
Oh yeah, college.
Yeah.
So now that we've set the scene, and you are largely aware of just how all of this that's happening. Like it's in a period of change. Like
people are still dying from milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's set the immediate scene for you. It is March 25th, 1911. And you say your sister works in this shirtwaist factory, which for those of you that don't know what a shirtwaist is, like, because I mentioned earlier that I am a costumer and I am very familiar with like Victorian, Edwardian, and like I have my time periods of expertise in clothing. But a shirtwaist is a sort of blouse that is based largely on menswear, but it's still like versatile and feminine enough that it can be like, tucked into a skirt to be more casual, or you can wear it with a matching skirt and be matchy and cute. But it's the beginning of like fast fashion, which is like fashion that is readily available in multiple sizes, mass produced, and like shipped out. Okay. So this is the garment district in New York was one of those situations where the garment district in New York made about 70% of like the US's clothing for women. Like, and I'm talking everything from blouses and shirts and jackets and skirts and boots and all of that jazz, and about 40% of the menswear. This one district.
That's
now,
insane.
To say district, you and I are probably thinking 2 or 3 streets.
No, I'm thinking like, here in Houston, we have like Fifth Ward.
Largely, yes. It is a very large just sector that is devoted to making clothing.
Wild.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking, I mean, I understand that like New York has a hydroelectric dam and a bunch of, well, maybe not now. I don't know when that was put in, when the battery is a thing.
Oh, don't get me to lying.
Yeah, but either way, it's the biggest port in America at the time. So It's where you have all the factories.
But it makes sense that it would also be like the export area for like all of these various items.
Yeah, sure.
So Brian, Emily and I are both costumers. You have been witness to the chaos that is our production. I hesitate to call it process, but we'll call it process for now.
Okay.
You've seen what happens when you put 2 seamstresses making patterns, cutting patterns, laying things out, drafting, Like you by proxy kind of know everything that goes into garment making.
Yeah, in a very overly general kind of way. But yeah.
Now, imagine that multiplied across 2 floors. So you have, say, for example, one floor that is for the cutting of patterns and like the trace and cut of fabric, and another room that is just slam packed with like 200 sewing machines. Now I know for a fact for the sorting event that we did a couple of years ago, Emily and I took over the room that we're actually using as our little studio right now. I brought my serger and my sewing machine over, and Emily had her serger and her sewing machine, and we had 4 tables set up in the middle to do pinning and cutting. It was listen.
It was so goddamn loud.
It was very loud.
It was so goddamn loud. And then the next day, wherever I walked, I felt like a horse on a medieval battlefield because a caltrop would spike through my foot every once in a while. Yeah, and I was like, and I would just fall on the ground and have to pull a little shank out of my heel.
So and let me be clear when I say this, as much chaos as that is when Emily and I combine our powers and churn out 8 costumes over the course of a weekend, that's controlled chaos.
Well, quite frankly, you're not competing with each other, because I imagine some of their wage is like piece rate, if that's even been invented yet.
I'm honestly not sure. There wasn't a whole lot of that to be found, because I did look that up to see like if they got like commission on how many pieces that they put in their like ready to go bin versus like, you know, just having a set quota for the day. I couldn't find any of that. I imagine it's out there and I was probably just looking in the wrong sources, but I could not find that. But that's controlled chaos. Like, Emily and I know exactly where everything is at any given moment, unless it's the fucking chalk. The tailor's chalk goes missing. That shit just vanishes. Anyway. But you've seen that. Yeah. You know what it looks like when there's just like, you know, the cabbage patch of fabric, and then like there's the kind of the no man's land that is just the pile of discarded pattern pieces, because we've cut the pattern off of what we need and we've just left it over there because we might need that, but we're not really sure yet. So you know what that looks like. Well, I bring that up to kind of further set the scene of like bits of fabric, bits of tissue paper, because they would use tissue paper. Emily and I typically transfer our patterns over to thicker paper.
Yes.
Like I have 2 gigantic sketchbooks that are just dedicated to creating patterns.
But this is like the a simplicity pattern. If you open up, there's
the actual like tissue paper.
Yeah, it's like thinner than butcher's paper.
Yeah. So there's little bits of that everywhere on top of like the completed pattern pieces hanging from like strings and pulleys on the ceiling for quick access. And once again, this is divided. So it was floors 8, 9, and 10. And floor 10 is where the execs were. So I imagine there's probably not a whole lot of production going on this floor.
Right, yeah.
But
if there is a lot of clutter, it is strictly in paper. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that, because this is before like computers,
contracts, yeah.
So your accountants have literal books everywhere.
So consider the chaos that you have seen wrought between 2 people.
Right.
Imagine that with 500.
Yeah.
And like
there has to be some kind of like round the clock trash disposal.
You'd think.
You know?
You'd think. But remember, this is early 1900s factory setting.
Yeah, so maybe they just, at the end of the
what
day.
The fuck are working conditions?
Yeah.
So like you have bins overflowing with like, we call it the cabbage patch, which is our discarded fabric, like the tiny cutoff pieces that I can't make a cuff or a sleeve out of that. This is too fucking small to do anything except stuff a bear with into the cabbage patch. So they have bins of discarded fabric, and then you also have bins of discarded like tissue paper.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to leave your station for fucking anything. And this is the early 1900s, so fucking everyone smokes.
Yeah.
Everyone I cannot fucking stress that enough.
No, it's they legitimately thought it was good for you for like a really long time.
I know, like right up until like what, the 50s?
Yeah.
When it's
really a little probably like it was proven in like the late 50s, early 60s, but it was already a thing because you had like certain religious groups and certain health groups that didn't smoke or drink because they were like, it's got to be bad for you.
I bring that up because, like, once again, you weren't allowed to leave your station to go take a break, except for like maybe to go pee once. But like there are reports, there are like people that survived this incident would tell like reporters, I guess, that like they would smoke, and to avoid like being detected, like they would ghost it through the lapels of their shirt. So like in this already highly volatile tinderbox of a factory, you have people just smoking at their sewing machines,
striking matches every once
striking
in a while.
matches, because they didn't have like Bic lighters as we would recognize them.
Yeah, that wouldn't.
There were lighters.
No, they did have them, but you can actually still get them on Amazon.
I know, they're so cool.
Lighters. Yeah, the Zippo windless or windproof was not designed yet until like World War II.
So floor 8 was where they would cut fabrics and like cut the patterns and stuff, and then they'd ship it up to floor 9, which is where everybody sewed everything together. And that was some 200 plus sewing machines going all at the same time. And these weren't the sewing machines that we know them now. Like I know that I joke about Skynet, but Skynet's fucking quiet compared to my very first sewing machine.
Yeah.
And then I have heard my grandmother's, like, I hesitate to call it an antique, but that's like the first word that pops into my head. Like it's not one of the pedal push ones.
Oh, okay.
But it's not. But it's one of the very first like motorized models after that. I'm struggling to describe it to you.
Yeah, it's got to be a Singer, right?
It is. It's one of the black Singers with the gold scrolling filigree, and she's got one of the cranks.
So you would say that is a belt driven.
Yeah.
Because in a factory, it wouldn't have been. You wouldn't have had the pedals. There would have been a central power. And then, like, essentially there's a spot in the floor where your belt hooks onto the central crankshaft that's going through the factory.
I don't know, but they said that these were these
nightmare
motorized sewing machines.
When you look...
200 of those going all at the same time. Can you imagine the fucking racket?
It must have been deafening because, like, so you've definitely seen the guts of these in some of these pictures. If you look up and like it's a brown building, brick, right? And in the roof, you see a bunch of pipes, but they're not water pipes. They're just like, and they have like rubber bands hooked all to them. So that's like a crankshaft in a car. And the two lines that you see going down to the sewing machine, that's a belt to turn the motor on the sewing machine.
That's fucking insane. No wonder people would like drive needles through their entire fucking fingers.
Yeah. So
like I've gotten one through an acrylic nail before. That was hilarious.
Yeah. But it's the same as the foot pedal.
0 out of 10. Do not recommend.
Instead of going down to the foot pedal, it's going up to it. Yeah.
Okay. So the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory is owned by these two bros. Max, I'm not sure if it's Blank or Blanc. Could be either way. I did do some cursory like listening just to make sure I could get some of my pronunciation correct, and I heard it pronounced both ways.
Yeah. So Triangle, two bros.
Yeah, two bros. Max Blanc or Blank. I'm gonna go with Blanc because it sounds fancy, and he probably decided, oh, I'm rich now, so I'm going to be Blanc. And Isaac Harris. Now, both of these bros are immigrants themselves. Like they've done it. They've bootstrapped.
Yeah,
they've pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and made their whole company, and now they're rich, and now they're going to treat everyone else like shit.
Yeah, that was pretty much the size of it.
Right?
With some precious few examples, that was usually the case.
Yeah, and like these guys did it. Like they came in, they worked in a factory setting, like a garment factory specifically. Like they both did this. Why? Do what is this do unto others bullshit? Like, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, not what they did.
Yeah.
To be better.
Well, because
break the fucking cycle.
It's so competitive, I think, and at that time period, like even all the way up until like the 30s and stuff. If you became poor, it was like impossible to not be. But once you were out of it, it seemed to be like a rapid upward progression.
Yeah.
Because there were some jobs that like you were talking about earlier about how much these people made. But there were some jobs that you see this all the time, and when you listen to like podcasts or read books about people who are like successful in history, they would do jobs that were kind of dangerous or out of the way. And so they would get like, they knew a little bit of math, so they lied a lot, and they got a job as a surveyor. And the surveyor job paid like $100 a week. Now, given the things that you were just saying, you know, like, but they had to like survey in the Rockies. And so it was like, yeah, you could like die any moment. Nobody wants to do this. So like, go be a surveyor. And there was a lot of that kind of shit where people would be like, if you worked for a multimillionaire, you got paid a lot, but you had to work for them directly. If you worked for like their foreman's foreman, and you were at the bottom of the totem pole, you got paid nothing. Because one of the things that like they talk about when like capitalism gets there's a book, very good book. It's a boring ass read, but everybody should read it, called Wealth of Nations. And it pretty much describes, it's a scientific study in a way of capitalism and how capital works. And John Locke wrote a lot about this, about like why mercantilism in America would work. And a lot of people use a nail example, which is that you can get a blacksmith, and you can pay a blacksmith a bunch of money to make nails because they know how to do everything. Or I can get a blacksmith to make me a nail press, and I can get any schmuck to pour metal into a nail press. And I don't have to pay him shit because he has no experience or skills. He does know. Now, granted, in sheer productivity, he is much more valuable than a blacksmith because he's going to be fucking pumping out nails like nobody's business. He works for less. And so this is where you start to see like the capitalist class become the top of the thing, because they make all of the difference between that labor.
It kills me because like these guys literally did this job. They worked in these horrendous conditions. They know exactly how awful this can be, and they're doing it to other people to make profit. I don't know if I'm necessarily just a product of the generation that I was raised in, or if I'm just specifically naive and idealistic. But why the fuck would you do that to someone else?
I mean, you know, profit is the god of many people.
I guess.
There's a reason Jesus throws money out of the temple. You know what I mean? Even if it does serve a purpose in that particular instance. It makes people do crazy shit.
So there are conflicting reports here. Like, there are workers that are interviewed later that say that the owners knew exactly what was happening and like possibly even ordered some of it. And then there are what Max and Isaac said, if we didn't know, we had no idea. We would never. Believe who you will. I'm likely going to side with the worker who lived this hell.
Yeah.
As opposed to the nouveau riche motherfucker that decided he was just gonna anyway.
Yeah.
I'm jumping ahead of myself.
And is not legally, like, the side with the worker who's not legally liable for making a death trap.
Fuck these guys. So I told you all earlier that they were heavily restricted in their movement, right? Like, you were at your station, you stayed at your station, you may go to the bathroom once or twice. Lunch break, who? We don't know her. Smoke at your station, but don't get caught. Because cigarettes were banned, obviously, for obvious fucking reasons. There are paper particles in the air because we can't be arsed to put windows in here. Anyway, that's all very important here shortly. So it's the end of your working day. It's a Saturday. Your working day was only like 7 to 8 hours as opposed to like the 10 to 13 that you normally work. And it's the weekend. You're chatting with your friends as you get up to leave. I don't know. You're either on the 8th or the 9th floor. One of the two, because you're not allowed on the 10th floor. No, that's for the rich folk. So you're chatting with your friends, you're about your weekend plans, you're about to leave, and you have an entire fucking family, and this factory was mostly women, ranged anywhere from 14 years old, the youngest. There were 2 that were 14, all the way up to like 43 years old. And amiably chatting at the end of your day because now you're allowed to talk, which, by the way, everything was set up in such a way that you no, don't talk to your neighbor. That productivity, profit, God.
Time study is bad.
Right?
Yeah.
Ugh. Just gets me all angry. They're like, so people are getting to leave, finally. And you can only leave via one of the staircases because the other one is locked. Because these people are terrified of you stealing anything. Stealing a pattern, stealing fabric, stealing a blouse.
Right.
A blouse that was probably like $2.50. Let's go on the high end and say $3. So they've locked. There are 2 stairwells in this brand new. Well, okay, I say brand new. It was built in 1901.
Okay, so
relatively it's about 10
new.
years old.
Yeah.
And so in this new building, there are 2 staircases that go up, and there's like an elevator. And you're only allowed to go out one of these staircases because they keep the other one locked because they want to check your bag and your belongings for things you may have stolen.
Yeah, sure. That's the foreman. That is
your foreman.
That's
Congratulations.
That's the one dude in the room. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like it's a big dude that would be like a bodyguard or something otherwise, but he's standing here checking your shit.
So at about 4:45, somebody on the 8th floor notices there's smoke coming from one of the rubbish bins. Oh no. Somebody put it out. Oh wait. This is 1911. Fire protocols where?
Right.
Who? What? Huh? Oh no. It's on fire. Run! Scream! So the flame very quickly gets out of control, just simply because it is in an environment that is, I use this with every definition of the word, a tinderbox.
Yeah. Yeah, threadbare fabric everywhere. There's paper all over the place.
There are particles of fabric and paper in the air because there's no circulation, no ventilation. It is a perfect storm of this shit's... have you seen Backdraft? So the 8th floor gets out. I broke Brian and I'm not sure how.
With former football player Howie Long?
I mentioned that one because Backdraft was one of my mom's favorite movies, so we watched it all the fucking time. And my dad would just sit there the whole time and go... in the this is my everyday reality of a fireman.
Yeah. Why is the 240-pound guy the person they're lowering on the rope?
Fuck's sake.
Yeah. Yeah. Why isn't it like a guy my size? Yeah.
The point is, this fire breaks out and there's no suppression, there's no training. Like if a fire were to break out right the fuck now, you and I would immediately try to smother it, go for the fire extinguisher.
Yes.
Like you and I specifically are like trained in this because we both worked in retail customer service jobs and we got the emergency exits and fire suppression and this is what to do. Those didn't exist at this point. There was something, but it was more of a suggestion at that point, and factory conditions we've established were shit.
Yeah.
They would forego safety things in favor of, it's cheaper to not do that. So the fire breaks out and there's no fire extinguishers. People just go, oh fucking no. I'm sure somebody tried to go, Yeah,
it just made it worse.
Yeah, and probably just fanned the flame as opposed to smothering it. But fire breaks out and it very, very, very quickly spreads. The 8th floor gets out and they call the 10th floor to let them know, fire. There's a fire happening. And there are, once again, conflicting reports of, we called the 9th floor, but nobody answered. Nobody heard the fucking phone call if you did, because that's 200 sewing machines in one room. Who heard that? Anyway.
I doubt they hear anything when they're not at work.
So the 10th floor goes up and escapes to the roof. And they get help from neighbors on a neighboring building. The building beside them,
dropping a ladder and then walking over. Yeah. The high rise shit. We all know this. This is the brownstone stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody drops a fire ladder across the gangplank. The
right
literal
across.
gangplank.
Yeah.
And then you go across.
So the 10th floor gets out. The 8th floor gets out. The 9th floor, nobody knows that there's a fucking fire until the floor starts getting hot and they start seeing flames outside the windows.
And then it explodes.
They have nowhere to go. there is an instant panic because the building's on fire.
Yeah.
The building's on fire. What the fuck do we do? So some of them get out via the stairs until the stairs are basically engulfed in flames and they can't. Remember that the other stairwell is locked.
Yeah.
And they cannot get through. And mind you, I just want to point this out. The foreman is one of the first ones out of the building. The foreman has the fucking key.
Yep. That's why we have those little cases now that have like keys or fire alarms and little glass case, because you don't want to have it on people. They run.
Yeah.
They do what they really should do and just get the fuck out. I'm
not one personally to place blame, but blame for so many of these deaths lands squarely on that motherfucker because he took the key with him. If nothing else, leave out of that door. Yeah, well, apparently he wasn't even on the 9th floor. He was on the 8th. Yeah, that makes sense. So there are there's so many people trapped on the 9th floor with nowhere to go. They go down the stairs until the stairs are impassable. Like they're just covered in flames. There's rapid smoke, like billowing black smoke like you see in cartoons, filling the room. They can't breathe. They try the fire escape, which I don't know if you would have you consider before fire safety protocols like were mandatory, like your building gets inspected for new construction and the inspector goes, that's not it. That doesn't follow regulation. So consider fire escapes before that. These are spindly iron things that are loosely bolted to the side of the building that are largely there just for show because they advertise these buildings, these brick and mortar buildings, as fireproof. You're right. Because the facade, the outside of them is brick, is stone. Stone doesn't burn. But the inside of them is mass-produced iron beams with wood. Yeah. And I want to say the law at that point was you could still have wood inside your building if your building was under 150 feet tall. Like, because it's because this is the birth of the high rise. And once again, also they are very wrong. Stone does in fact burn. Well, yeah, like that's what they would have advertised this space as. It takes a while. So they try the fire escape. The fire escape gets about 10-15 people down and then collapses under the weight of the 20 other people that are trying to get down it. Yeah, dude. I remember working in a building that had one of these, and they used to tell us openly 3 people at a time because it wouldn't hold the weight. It's fucking horrifying. Like this story gets worse before it gets better. Let me just preface that. As the child of a fireman, like I take a lot of knowledge for granted because it was things that I was raised around, and these are also we are also byproducts of a time period that was kind of forged out of the blood of accidents. Yeah. For like policies and laws and rules. And this is one of those events. So, fair warning. So this fire escape just collapses and takes 20 people with it. It is, I want to say the word catastrophe, and I feel like I'm going to say it a lot because this whole thing is just, it's surreal in how awful it is. But it is in fact a catastrophe. And there are now some 180 people that are now trapped. Like 80, 90 feet off the ground. Yeah. They have nowhere to go. And luckily, the elevators are still working somehow. Mechanical. Mm-hmm. And 2 elevator operators, which I did in fact remember to get their names because they're fucking heroes. So we have Joseph Zito and Gasper Moritio. I'm not sure, but Gasper and Joseph are bros. They keep their elevators up and running until the heat buckles the rails of Gasper's. And it's just useless. Like he can't go up or down. It won't go up or down. And Joseph goes until panic kind of destroys his. Like he gets about 3 carts of people out before the firearms on the ninth floor gets so bad that people are prying open the doors of the elevator, the gates, and trying to climb the cables down.
Sure, yeah, sure.
And of course, like I don't know if you've ever experienced a metal cable.
Oh, they rip through your skin.
Bingo.
Yeah, you can't.
So these people are basically getting about 5-10 feet down, and then their hands can't do it.
Yeah,
and they're falling.
As a person who used to be able to climb like cable-sized object, like a let's say like a pine tree, just a pole going up, or a rope that's about 4 inches in diameter. I used to be able to climb one without using my legs. I never could climb a cable. Because they bite the shit out of your hands.
I was a tree climber, and you know the trees in our area. They've got the real rough bark.
Yeah.
And it was the same in it's the same in a lot of coastal cities now that I think about it.
Because of the bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am very, very used to like rough things and grabbing, and like, you know, girls got an iron grip because I worked at Starbucks for a billion years.
Yeah.
I can't do metal cables. That hurts.
No, it fucking hurts. Yeah, because
that is a new level of pain too, because not only is it tearing into you, but it's pinching at the same time.
Yeah, because as it bends one way or the other, whatever part of your hand that's touching, it's just gonna bite the shit out of.
So needless to say, that ends poorly, and basically the people falling to their doom down this elevator shaft break the elevator, and they can't go up or down anymore. They're trapped.
Yeah.
And so we get to the part of the story that is just absolutely horrific and distressing. All of these people are trapped on the 9th floor, roughly 90 feet above ground level. And flames are showing, a crowd is gathering. The fire department has responded in a timely manner. Now, granted, this is a horse-drawn fire carriage, right? Yeah.
With a pump, like a big hand.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know what their tanker size was, because they may or may not have had hydrants. I really should have looked for that, but I didn't. But they are kind of between a rock and a hard place, because their tallest ladder is only 60 feet tall.
Yikes. Okay.
Damn. They can't even get to the 7th level to help these people. And like, they're just kind of, what do we do? And they try, you know how in the cartoons where like they show the firefighters with the little like trampoline thing, the catch nets, they try that.
No, that's a lot of weight.
That is a 90-foot drop.
Yeah.
It is torn open. It is ripped out of their hands. It is useless. And the fire at this point is so bad. You can't get to the stairs. They are basically they're pressed against the windows, because their last ditch effort to get out, to break down the one staircase that isn't on fire, they can't. You ever been at a concert and the crowd surges?
Yeah.
That.
No, it presses you, and you can't get the room to do what you need.
Yeah. And people.
Why all doors open to the outside now?
Yeah, people are trampled. People die because there is a stampede to get out of the door that is still locked. Yeah. And they, not only that, but that door opens like pull open instead of push open.
It's exactly, yeah.
And so they're pressed against the windows. They have no choice. Their options are die by fire.
Or jump.
Yeah.
That's a scene that we in our generation are all too familiar with because of a certain September 11th building.
But there are survivors from September 11th because of laws and policies and stuff that came about because of this event.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Must have staircases for one.
Yeah.
Like, even if you have an elevator, you have to have a staircase in case of power outage or fire. That's, oof.
Yeah. To jump forward over some of the nastier things, because there is a crowd of some 1,000 people outside that are just watching this tragedy happen, and no one can do anything. Like, the New York Fire Department at this point is one of the most modern in the world. Sure,
yeah. But what do you do? I mean, let's say a person my size, right? I'm 185 pounds. If I jump from an 8-story building and you attempt to catch me, I'm going to crush you like a pancake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's not...
And, like, it's just... I'm floundering over this one because it got me emotional.
Yeah.
That's certain death no matter what.
Yeah.
Like the human body cannot survive a 90 foot fall.
No, I mean, outside of just a medical malady where like your hips explode and it soaks that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it would be some weird scenario.
It would be a bizarre miracle, perfect storm of events where you like hit 2 trees on the way down and then landed on somebody and you've got 2 broken femurs and a fractured spine.
Yeah.
You're hurting, but you're alive somehow.
And this is not the time period where you make a comeback from that.
Yeah,
so like, you're going to die anyways.
This is awful. And people have the choice of they die by fire or they can jump and maybe survive. And in the newspaper article, there are pictures. Do not go look this up. Don't. Because I did, and I wish I didn't.
Oof.
Yeah. There are bodies like 2 and 3 deep of people that chose to jump.
Of course, because they're jumping from the same windows.
Yeah.
They're just hitting the same spots on the ground. That would honestly be your only real shot at survival.
Yeah.
Is if you're like one of the last to jump. And so you land.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's.
But at that point, by the last people to jump were also on fire when they jumped.
Oh, Jesus. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, because now they're just panicking and looking for any opening.
Like,
wow.
It's awful. It's awful. And all of this horrible, terrible, awful stuff happens in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Within 30 minutes, it's over. The fire department like basically goes up under it and starts putting things out. Like they get it controlled in 18 minutes and 30 minutes it's over. And
sure. Yeah, because they just soak the lower floors.
Yes.
And then it burns like a candle.
And there are firefighters, like there are reports from the firefighters of them finding survivors on like the 6th floor that like managed to get out through the fire escape before it collapsed. Like they went through a window. Can you imagine?
Yeah, just like essentially probably passing out from the smoke and then having like waking up outside.
So, like I said, within 30 minutes, all of this is done. There are 143 deaths. Now, out of 500 people.
That's wow.
143 people died. Only 23 of them were men.
Yeah, because it's all women in the shirt factory.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how many of those were in the 10th floor? I bet it's about 23.
I couldn't get a number on that one because I looked, but both of the owners survived because they were on the 10th floor and they just skedaddled right on across that ladder and left everyone else. Yeah. Horrendous, right?
Yeah.
So Blanc and Harris were brought up on 1st and 2nd degree manslaughter for just unsafe working conditions. Like basically they were responsible for all of this. They were
the causes of the death, but it wasn't premeditated. So manslaughter.
They were acquitted.
Sure.
No charges. Yeah. Because, and I quote, they claim to have no knowledge that the foreman had locked the doors to the stairwells during working hours.
I mean, he had the damn key.
And was one of the first ones out of the building.
Yeah, so I was just like, all right. But he certainly knew that he had a key.
Yeah. A civil case would later bring them up on wrongful death, and they had to pay out $75 to the plaintiffs, the survivors, for every death. 143 people died.
Now, what was their weekly pay? I'm just...
right.
Yeah.
So they wound up paying out a lump sum of roughly $11,000. Ask me what their insurance paid them.
Oh, I'm fucking sure it was $100,000.
$65,000.
Yeah. Fuck, dude. Yeah, because I was thinking like, all right, that's about a year's of wages for, like for everything and expenses and all that shit.
They make a windfall on the insurance. Did they pay their victims' families?
No.
I say victims. No, we're going to go with that. Victims.
Yeah,
I'm laying blame on them.
They broke and left with $55,000. Roughly.
Yeah. As a direct result of this tragedy, because that's what it is. It's a fucking tragedy, and it was completely preventable. You know what? No, fuck it. We'll leave that extra B in there. Preventable. I'm trying to make myself laugh because I don't want to cry.
Yeah, that's
if
okay.
If they just like listen to the suggestions, like the building code suggestions for the time.
Yeah.
Because they weren't laws yet.
No, but there was definitely engineers that were like, here's how to make this work.
So, in the crowd of people down below watching all of this happens is a woman whose name is going to tickle your brain if you don't already know exactly who she is. Frances Perkins.
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
It sounds familiar, but only because I know a lot of people named Perkins.
Well,
so, like,
Frances Perkins, 22 years from now, is the first woman to be in the U.S. cabinet.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah, FDR hires her.
Oh, shit. I do know who this is.
There you go.
Okay. This is one of his, like, dream team people.
Yes.
Along with one of my favorite people I told you about earlier, Henry Wallace.
Yes. So Frances Perkins is down in the crowd at this point, and she's watching all of this happen, and it's a fucking nightmare, and it's terrible, and she decides this can never fucking happen again. Absolutely the fuck not. She goes on this, like, crusade of just absolute badassery to get laws changed, to like, she did so much that if I went through all of it that I read and listened to today, we'd be here for another hour and a half. She did so much.
Dude, FDR's cabinet.
I know.
Was she the Secretary of Labor?
Correct. Good job.
Yeah, she was like, gotta be, right?
Yes.
If not, it's the Interior.
You are exactly correct. She was the Secretary of Labor. Now, granted, this is 22 years before that. So, like...
Shit. Damn.
So, like, by the time that FDR hires her, Shadi's had time to cook.
Yeah.
Like, she knows what she's about. And, like, can I just say, like, I wish I'd known who she was. I wish I'd known about her when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because, like, this is role model material here.
Oh, but that's not something, like, if you're in school and it's Women's History Month, you'll get a couple of good ones, right? You'll get, like, Ruth Bader Ginsburg or somebody, but you're not going to get, like, anything having to do with labor or unions.
Oh, of course not. You're not going to get any of the women that raised their voices.
No. Yeah, not right.
Of course not.
Maybe a couple of them, you know, but they'll be highly contextualized.
So the Committee of Public Safety was formed. Thank you, Francis. The Factory Investigation Committee.
Fuck yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And like, ooh, boy, howdy. When they go in to do all of these investigations, there's over 3,000 pages of reports.
Of just like, here's how this went wrong, or here's how you fucked up.
Yes, both.
Yeah.
Like, they go and investigate like all of the factories in the air, like all of them. Like nobody got a pass. And like in I'm excited. You can tell. I'm going to get real hung up on one word. They go in at one point in one factory. I didn't say which one, but the fire escape is a hatch that's maybe this big.
Yikes.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So she's
Isaiah might have fit through that when he was 10.
Little. Yeah, like shit. I'm not sure I get through that now. So Katie was holding up her fingers and what I assume is a square.
Yeah.
Because
it's a hatch that's like maybe 36 inches across, like you'd measure a TV.
Yeah, it was probably designed for like a dumbwaiter at some point, and they just added that onto it. So like, yeah, you're looking like 1.5 by 1.5 square. Nothing.
And they called that the fire escape. Absolutely the fuck not. So hell gets raised with this committee, right? And they've put forward 64 bills to change shit. I want you to take a moment to consider that. 64 bills. We joke about Hamilton a lot. Why do you write like you're running out of time?
Yeah.
Of these 60...
Perkins wrote the other 55.
Literally.
Amazing.
So of these 64 bills that they put forward to like reform factory safety, like labor laws in general, like, dude, when I say that this woman went to bat.
We'll move you a little closer just in case you're not picking up.
Oh, I'm sure I'm loud enough that they can hear me. I'm impassioned and therefore very loud. So 64 bills get put forward. They get 60 laws out of it.
That's really
insane.
That's crazy.
That is bananas.
That's probably in the 4. We're probably just like there's something in here that it doesn't quite line up legally or something, and it had to be pushed back.
The public outcry from this, like a couple of days after all of this is done, the city, New York City, holds like this marching funeral, and 100,000 people turn out for it.
Wow.
And like collectively, like all of the politicians, I don't know how, but this is one of those like unifying events that all of politics goes, yeah, no, this needs to change.
Yeah, it's like
this is not okay.
Throwback to 9/11 again. It's like the resolutions against the Taliban after 9/11. They're like, yeah, we're doing this, right? Yeah, and everybody just uniformly raised their hand.
Like, and to basically, we get 60 laws specifically to protect workers, and it includes like fire safety standards are no longer a suggestion, they are law now. And when I say fire safety standards, these are things that we in our modernity take for granted. Fire alarms, sprinkler systems, fire extinguishers, like a fire escape and fire drill plan.
Yeah.
Fire alarms. All of these things like are now non-negotiable legalities. Like they must be put in. There is no wriggling out of it. Like it is the law. It also included better sanitation and better ventilation, because it wouldn't have gone boom if there weren't scraps of everything lying around.
Yeah.
If your workers were allowed to leave their stations to go smoke, to go eat.
Yeah.
Like
if there were more windows, they literally could have probably tied some of the shirts together and got to a lower floor.
Literally.
Yeah, like there's a lot of tactics that might have been employed. This
is also one of the founding events for OSHA. Like, and I know that OSHA doesn't come about until the 1970s, but much like the Radium Girls and like the what is it, the Texas City disaster?
Yeah.
Like these were all like keystone events for OSHA.
Yeah, once you get like, we talked about this in our Love Canal thing of like, once you get a couple of these or one bad enough, you get a thing out of it. And and that thing comes hard.
And labor laws for women and children, they restricted the work weeks. Like there are now laws around how much you can work a woman and or a child. Also, minimum wage.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
This is Perkins?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. This lady was a boss,
yeah,
bro.
She's one of my new favorite people now.
Dude, it's crazy. Like, and thanks to oh, by the way, from like 1911 to 1913, working conditions in New York are like 9-day turnaround, like practically overnight. They have some of the most progressive labor laws in the nation. Like this place went from a nightmare to kind of an ideal.
For its time, right?
And like this is also when unions are starting to make a lot of noise, because like literally just the year previous, this factory itself, like their workers basically kind of went on strike. Well, there is no kind of to it. They went on strike, like to get safer conditions, to get higher wages, to not have to work as long, as much, as hard. And basically, in order to preserve profit, Dumb and Dumber were like, yeah, okay, you can have 3 of those. Pick the one that you don't want. And they chose the one that was going to save them money, which was the safer working conditions.
That's crazy.
It's fucking psycho.
That is psycho.
And then a year later, your entire fucking factory burned
because
down. Fuck you.
Yeah, that is like the one that if you were looking at the 4, you'd be like,
oh, safer working conditions.
That's
so I don't have to pay you as much.
Yeah, that's automatically reasonable. Yeah, you're just like, just from an asshole perspective, you're just like, oh yeah, safeguard my money. Yeah, let me do that. So that's crazy that you would skip that one.
I made a really short list of all the awesome things that Perkins did, which is the Social Security Act.
Wait, what the fuck?
I know, right?
Dude, I thought that was like so I knew that was like an FDR thing.
Uh-huh.
So this is later in her career.
Yeah. Like this is her whole career. This is not like 1913.
That's the shit, though.
Fair Labor Standards Act.
Sure, was still a thing.
So this is the one that's not a thing, and I kind of wish it was, but it's the Civilian.
The CCC,
The CCC.
my favorite thing in the world.
The little happy dance he just did.
We go to CCC parks to camp.
I know.
I am. So they brought it back for a very small period of time during the Biden administration.
Damn.
Because a bunch of students marched to Washington in order to bring the CCC back.
Uh-huh.
And what they got out of it is kind of a limited form, which it was like conservation, as in like clean up parks and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? The original CCC built the state parks that we all camp in now.
Mm-hmm. And it was brought about during the Great Depression.
Yeah.
So it created jobs.
And it got men the fuck out of cities. So all of your like inner city crime plummeted.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hate to say it, guys, it's us, bro. We can't, if we have too much free time, we're going to get into it.
Yep.
So it got them out. And also, when they worked, I fucking love the CCC. So like when they worked, they kept part of their check. But if they were married, part of their check automatically went to their wife and kids. That way you didn't have anybody that was like, an alcoholic or something that was just kind of spending it all. And if they weren't married, it didn't matter. It went into a savings account and they got it later so that it would save up. And when they got out, the military uses a very, very similar model.
So I want to point out that I learned all of this today, like 6 hours ago, and Brian just knows this shit.
I didn't know that this was a Frances Perkins thing.
Yeah.
I only kind of know of her because I watch a bunch of like documentaries like Howard Zinn's thing.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like, I watch that and people get mentioned every once in a while, like women in history. I didn't know all of this was Perkins.
Oh, but wait, there's more. The Workers' Protection, the Wagner Act. There we go. So basically, that's unions can form and organize and do union shit without their employers retaliating against
it's the
them.
one that all the retail chains are deathly afraid of.
Fuck you, Starbucks. Safety and labor standards, which that was early in her career. That was around this time, and she okay. She had a hand in the immigration stuff, like to pull Jews out of Nazi Germany. Like she was the one that was fast tracking people in. Oh shit.
Okay, yeah. All right. So I learned about this, something similar in Canada, where they had set up like worker unions for German expats when they came over, so they would have like a job and a place to live when they showed up.
Yeah.
So she did the American version of that. That's so fucking cool.
This woman was a badass, bro. And I so wish I'd known about her when I was little.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Shit. This whole episode like straight up went from like terrible fire history to like, let's talk about the coolest fucking broad of all time.
For real.
Like, yeah. Oh man. This is definitely made like one
this
of my...
has gone past girl crush into straight crush theory.
Yeah.
and she was a looker too. Like, look at her.
So in the older, I can only say like in her younger photos, she's very pretty. In her older photos, she looks like she might stab you. And I really mean, she looks mean as fuck. Like
I'd let her.
She's got one of those hats that's like that's a 1920s style hat.
It's
like
the bucket hat that's like still like turned up at the front.
Yeah, we definitely see some.
Well,
yeah, this is 100% when she's hanging out with Eleanor.
Yep.
That's the Roosevelt fashion right there.
Yep.
That's amazing. Dude, come on.
This woman was
Time
an absolute
magazine.
Boss.
Front page cover, Time magazine.
The architect of the New Deal.
The architect of the New Deal, the most famous and the best working, most well received thing in U.S. politics. People always talk about that. Like now, they're like, "Well, the New Deal wasn't all that great." It's like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like
what?
Shut
the fuck up.
I hear that from people every once in a while. I'm like, go read, like literally read about like a Hoover Town or not a Hoover Town. That's kind of a different thing. But like, well, it's not. It's the same shit. But the conditions of people in this time period.
I know.
My grandmother lived in Chicago for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
She told me that her mother had a recipe for like roadkill.
I mean, do what you got to do.
And she's not the only one I've heard this from. A lot of older people say they've had recipes for crow. Because you would go kill a crow and you could eat it.
Yeah.
And so like that's how dire shit was for people.
Yeah.
The fucking New Deal, things like this, the Civilian Conservation Corps, the public land works projects.
I'm so sorry. I feel like I failed you on this one. Until today, I had no idea what the CCC was.
Oh,
no
man.
fucking clue.
Weird.
And now that I do,
yeah.
Fuck, bro. Why did we stop?
Why do I not know who the fuck Frances Perkins is? That name should be like tattooed in my brain because now she's one of my favorite people.
Dude, yeah, she like this.
Holy shit.
When I tell you, I'm not even kidding. Like, I know I woke up super fucking early to like do my homework, which I smash cut to me in college. This is not new. But like I was crying while I was like making my notes and reading all of this because like this is heartbreaking. This is literal nightmare fuel. But out of this horrible, awful, just completely preventable, I said it right this time, tragedy, we got all of this.
Jeez, man.
And it began here.
You know, we used to respond to shit and it wasn't like like when we had the oil crisis here out in the Gulf and there was like globules of
I remember that like
and workers died on the platform because they told them something was wrong. They made a whole fucking movie about it. And that's true. That's based on true story. That the people who were working out there were like, hey, this shit is like rusting and it needs to be repaired. And like, maybe we need to tow this whole thing in and rebuild it. Deep water, I think. And I remember that going off. Human beings died. The oceans were polluted everywhere. We had red tide events, all kinds of shit. Fish were fucking washing up just in the hordes, dead. And I remember people making such a political event, not in this way, but in like we still hear it all the time. The EPA is dumb and it doesn't make any sense.
Oh my fucking God.
We need to do one on the Chicago River fire at some point.
Yeah, actually that came up. That was on the list that Tony sent me.
Yeah, it was like that this is kind of in a good concert to things like the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory is just like, here are the events and why we do this, the way we do this. It's like if you're not reminded of them all the time.
Anderson had a good line earlier because I was discussing this with him about these. We live in a kind of generational bubble where people have forgotten why these policies exist and why we need them.
Yeah,
because they're so far removed from the tragedies that brought them on.
Right. Yeah. None of us, like very few of us, anyways, had parents that died in a dynamite accident and building a railroad. Or died of a coal collapse, or black lung, or metal poisoning in a mine.
Yeah,
you know, like a lot of us are just so unconnected to that we don't realize. Like, if it weren't for all this shit, like we would all have shitty wages. Mm-hmm. We'd all be living in like shacks,
hovels.
Yeah, because that was the norm.
We'd be working 80 some hours a week for literal pennies.
Yeah,
like there's a reason. Okay, do you remember very, very recently Florida like tested the waters on rolling back child labor laws?
Yeah.
And I don't understand how there wasn't a louder outcry for that,
because we all assumed that like, well, they won't get away with that. It was like, yeah, they won't if you fucking break some shit.
Like,
you know, like if you don't,
I don't necessarily know if it's because I fall into like the historical hobby niche, but there are atrocities that have happened with having like children in the workplace.
Oh yeah.
Like on one of our very first episodes, the Magdalene Laundries, you were talking about kids in the manglers.
Yeah, kids in the manglers, kids picking up weft from the looms and
the
getting
textile
caught.
Factories. Yeah.
Yeah, like and right here, that probably happened in this factory, in the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, quite a bit. That was women's groups in London were the first people to march against that.
And this is also right around the time of like women's suffrage.
Yeah, that's what ended a lot of this working on Saturdays or Sundays, depending on your religion.
Yeah,
is that a lot of those people were like hyper religious, you know, like along with the vote and along with The anti-alcohol movement.
Ooh, don't get me fucking started on those mooks that stood outside with the votes and said, stop women's suffrage.
Yeah.
Because they were betting on people not understanding the wording.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
That's why Sally has a fucking hatchet in her hand. Like,
so the Ash building, now the Brown building, is still there. It's kind of a living monument. Like you can see its little plaques right here.
Yeah.
But this is the building.
Oh, totally renovated. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's still there. You can go visit it. They're actually working on a proper memorial for it, for the event, the tragedy of it. It's insane to me, like that this building that we're looking at right here would be considered a skyscraper.
Right, because it's a building in Midtown.
Yeah.
To us, you know what I mean? It's a normal.
Like,
this
and
is an
I told you,
building.
I called my dad like 3 times while I was doing research for this, which luckily my father has continued with his military wake up at the crack of dawn.
Yeah.
So when I called him at 6:45, he was already up. I asked him what our smallest ladder truck was. And my dad was the assistant chief for one of the assistant chief of the fire department for one of the towns in our area. And he told me that our smallest ladder was 30 foot.
That's exactly what yeah.
I asked him what our longest ladder was that we just had like ready to go without having to, load up anything. And he said, oh, that's one of the aerials. It's 100 foot.
100 foot. Holy shit. I was thinking like 55. That's crazy.
100 foot. I asked him, I said, Daddy, what's our, because I'm a Southern girl and I still call my dad Daddy. I said, Daddy, what's our average tanker? And he goes, oh, for us, it's 2,000 gallons.
Yeah.
For like going out towards Angleton and stuff, you have 18 wheelers that are
they're just water trucks.
They're water trucks in general.
Yeah. Because you don't know if there's going to be a hookup out there.
Exactly.
So you just move with the water.
And can you think about how far firefighting in general has come?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it started off in this country as like literal gangs.
Yeah. Water buckets.
Yeah. And that like guys would come through and they'd fight each other because they got paid if they put out a fire. So like they got to loot sometimes too. So like,
I'm so tickled that you know that.
Yeah. They show it in gangs in New York for a second. There's a fire and they start fighting. Not gangs. Yes, gangs in New York. They start fighting in the street.
Yeah.
Like they meet and then they kind of like shake
That was one of the reasons that I brought up gangs in New York.
Yeah. Amazing.
And like one of the things in the newspaper, I read about 3 different newspaper articles for all of that's how I got exposed to those fucking pictures. I repeat, do not go look that up. Don't do it because they didn't censor anything.
No, they didn't used to. Like, people were a lot more accustomed to violence. A lot more accustomed to violence.
Yeah, and they one of the reasons that they cited for just why this was such a tragedy was because it was the lack of training.
Yeah. And
I cannot tell you how many days, how many weekends I spent out at the fire field with my dad while he my father is one of my heroes for various reasons. But some of my earliest memories are being out at the fire field with my father and him barking orders at the firefighters that he was training. Because, and I will never forget this, he said, how the hell are you going to save lives if you don't know what the hell you're doing?
Yeah.
I was convinced. I was like 11 years old, and I was convinced that my father was a real life superhero.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, when people know their shit that well, and they're so well organized.
These were just dudes. You were a firefighter.
Yeah.
Sure. You knew how to turn the valve on the truck to make the water go whoosh. You probably knew, I say truck loosely because at that point it was literally a horse-drawn cart. Yeah, with like a what would normally be like a double boiler. Yeah. But instead of that, it was a big rubber valved pump. Mm-hmm. Yeah, crazy shit. Like, speaking from the firefighting perspective, there was now like training regiments that people went through. Basic first aid. This is never going to happen again. Yeah, because once again, they were considered the most modern at the time, and they were fucking powerless. Like, the fire department hadn't caught up with the high rise. Like, their tallest ladder. Yeah. Their tallest ladder was 60. Which I have seen ladders
that were not terribly shorter than that on construction sites.
Yeah.
I mean, because so there's a lot of big chemical plants in our area. So when I say ladders, I don't mean like residential ladders. I mean, like you cannot carry them with one human being. They're too big.
Yeah.
And
welcome to my morning.
Yeah, that's all. I mean,
this is awful and horrendous, and I hate that this happened. But I feel like we got gifts out of it at the end. Like the promises that were made to prevent shit like this from happening ever again. Laws that were enacted. Like entire divisions of government that came about because of this. Fuck, dude.
That's all. I mean, like it's a horrible tragedy, especially when you consider like just from a design perspective, right?
Yeah.
As just a weird history note. Do we have any idea what was in the lower floors?
Not a bloomin' clue.
Nobody?
I did not look. I focused purely on this because, like I said, it tried to spiral and rabbit hole on me a few times.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. Limited time. Must be ready to go by noon.
Well, now we know why 6 was afraid of 7.
Oh, no.
Jeez. I kept thinking of that. I was just like, this is a weird way for this place to stop because it's like 8, 9, you know? It was like this, what a coincidence. Shit, dude.
So that was my morning. Welcome to the tragedy of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire.
Well, fuck. But we got Francis Perkins out of it.
But we got fucking Francis Perkins out of it.
That's wild. Dude.
I know. I have a whole hero.
I really do believe like these generations of fucked up shit breed people like this because like out of the Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
That's where we got Henry Wallace. That was his time to shine. And you're just like fucking crazy. I mean, like these people that come out of nowhere and they just do everything. You know, like that.
They take tragedy and basically meld miracles out of it.
I mean, for that whole administration, for all their criticism, because people do have a lot of valid criticisms about them. What's that?
So, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, Tammany Hall. Fuck
yes.
Yeah, let's get the...
Tammany Hall was integral in bringing about a whole lot of these changes, which is weird because, previously, Tammany Hall was kind of a roadblock for most of the progressive everything.
Because it was corrupt as fuck until Tweed got out of office. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like because a fucking cartoonist took his ass
the Tammany Tigers!
Yeah. Yeah. But then after that, it was nothing but Union Irish folks. And so they were just like right on board. Yep. Yeah. All your firefighters. Mm-hmm. All your cops.
That's why I was double checking before I mentioned anything. So it's like, am I in the right place or is this the right time?
Dude, but that's fucking...
The latter half of that is awesome.
The latter half is awesome. The first half's... Oh.
Well, yeah, it made me cry. It literally made me cry. And I'm pretty good about, like, compartmentalizing, and this one got me.
Yeah.
Because, like...
Well, it sucks way more than, say, like a flour factory fire. Because they explode. And who's going to die, dies.
Yeah,
instantaneously.
Instant. The oxygen is gone.
Yeah.
It is instantly like, I don't have... Once again, we're in the South.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, we are familiar with being cautioned against silos.
Yeah.
And, like, what happens when grain rubs together too much or, you know.
Yeah, silo fires.
Fuck.
I will fully admit, I thought that shirtwaist was just like scraps. I thought it was just scraps. I didn't know. I thought it was
no. It's a style of blouse from that particular era. In fact, this is one of our activist ladies that survived this. Her name was Clara, and she was a boss until the day she fucking died.
Yeah, Clara punch you in the face a bitch.
She looks like a firecracker.
She looks like she's halfway smiling and halfway about to throw a gang sign. Dude. Like, she really does look very tough.
According to reports, she was trying to unionize the nursing home she was in before her death.
That's fucking awesome.
Until the day she fucking died, bro. There's a whole bunch of boss-ass women that came out of this.
Read about Francis Perkins.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
Please do. She is my new personal hero. So thank you for joining us on this awful episode.
Jeez, yeah.
Have a fantastic rest of your day, and remember, be a bro to humanity.
Hey, this is Brian from Morbid Mondays. If you like the show, please consider stopping by at our Ko-fi account. That's ko-fi/Morbid Mondays. It's $1 a month, and or just any one-time tip. And if you would like to help us fund our future endeavors and or just want to show a little bit of appreciation, awesome. Thank you so much for listening. And if you don't. Whatever. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening.